So, there's a few things I wanted to cover today. I want to talk less about my business and more about you and your business. And we build websites, so we've told you a little bit about what we do. Money back guarantee, up to a year to pay. We don't charge a great deal of money. Very, very targeted marketing. So, that's us. Like I said, most of our clients are typically self-employed, really, really small businesses. But I want to just have a brief word about you and your business, because one of the things that's made a massive difference to us is to begin to narrow down who we're selling to. Now, Lindsay will always tell you, if she does any marketing for you, she'll ask you, first of all, who you're selling to. Do you know your clients? What's your target market? Okay. And most small businesses start the wrong way round when they set up. They get a website, get some business cards, get some brochures, start going to networking groups with no real idea of who their ideal client is. And they spend, and don't get me wrong, I've been there, still do from time to time, spend a lot of time and effort and money trying to sell to people who are never going to buy from you because they are your wrong target market. So, first of all, I'd like you to have a think, and then I want you to tell the person in front of you for 30 seconds, who are you selling to? Who is your ideal target market? If you could pick a particular client who is the embodiment of what you like about the people you work with, the type of business, the size of business, type of business, the demographic of the business, the location of the business, the number of people in the business, who would it be? Okay? Right, 30 seconds. Tell the person opposite you. Let's be honest amongst ourselves. Raise a hand if you've struggled straight off the bat to think about who your ideal client might be. So let's start telling the truth. The reason why I go through this, when I work with clients, we always simply say, who are you trying to sell to? And almost always I get this, well, anybody with some money. Okay, so I build websites. I build small websites that are highly responsive, very targeted. Do you think I'd be a good use of my time, effort and money trying to sell to BT? No. Well, they've got loads of money. They're an ideal client. I mean, they've got those huge, they've got millions to spend on a web presence. Why not try and sell to them? They think, well, hang on a minute, how on earth am I going to get in there? I could spend the next year trying to get into BT, only to be told, well, we've got this massive agency who charges way over the odds in London, but we know them and we know we're going to keep spending and wasting all of our money with them. Bad targeting. Bad targeting. I've been to networking groups where I hear from consultants, oh, well, I'm looking for £1 million businesses to do some coaching and consulting with. Liar! You need to pay your bills. Find some clients. Now, I'm quite brutal with this because I see so many small businesses wasting time and effort and money trying to sell to people who aren't ideal clients. I will never, ever, ever try selling website services to BT. Why? Because they're not fit. I will never, ever, ever try selling website services to Weetabix, a smaller company, a local company, and Kettering just up the road, right? Why? Because again, it's not fit. I like selling, and I've identified this where my target market is, to people like you in the room. What I've also found out over the last 2.5 years is that most of my clients are typically around my age, late 20s. So I think, well, actually, trying to sell to a younger market may not necessarily be a good fit for me, because I seem to have attracted, not necessarily intentionally, people roughly my own age. So we're looking at from people from their late 30s to early 50s. I'm 44, in case you're wondering. I know, but the point is, I've realised that selling to people in their early 20s is probably a waste because they're technologically competent. A lot of them can probably build their own website. Okay? But I always ask their clients, who are you trying to sell to? Working with a guy who's a warehousing consultant at the minute. And he's identified a very, very specific band of businesses. So he says, I'm looking for people who've got a warehouse with typically between 20 and 100 staff who have a business that requires a warehouse. or storage. It's actually bigger than you think. But he doesn't want to deal with little firms. Why? Because he has a hard time selling to them, but he also has a hard time relating to them because most of his expertise is in that band. So we've narrowed his marketing down. Right, we can focus on these guys, which means we can do a targeted marketing campaign only selling to these guys, and stop wasting money trying to sell to small firms, stop wasting time and effort trying to sell to really, really big firms. Here's your market. Now, once you do this, it cuts out an awful lot of waste, because you won't try selling to people who aren't a good fit. Okay? And it's very, very important. It always should start there. You should always start when you're doing any kind of marketing, who am I trying to sell to? And you may have different people you're trying to sell to. It doesn't necessarily mean you've only got one particular market. You may have several. Okay, so let's ask Belinda a question. Most of your clients are male or female?
Female.
Female. Right. What kind of percentage would you say male to female ratio?
10 to 1.
10 to 1. So let's just say we set up this huge marketing campaign for you. Is it going to be female biased based on that demographic or male biased?
Female.
Female biased. So selling cars and golfing holidays and looking great at the gym for blokes isn't necessarily a good marketing tactic for you, because the bulk of your target market is women. It's not necessarily that there isn't a market for men. Most men don't know how to dress themselves. All right, fine, okay, harsh. But that's it is an area that's actually growing, but at the minute there is limited demand, and I think that will expand in time as men become nearly as vain as women. But that's good because it's a growing marketplace. What? But at the minute, 90% of your marketing needs to be female oriented. Okay, so would you advertise in Men's Health magazine based on that?
No.
Probably not. Okay, would you advertise at the local gym based on that?
Depends if it was for men and women.
Depends on the demographic of the gym, okay? So what I'm getting at here is choosing your target market and fitting your message according to that. Okay? I work in the web design industry. Okay? Ironically, most of my marketing is not on the web. Because of what I found in my target market, people like doing business face to face. I could sell to pretty much anyone in the world. I don't. I sell to people in Leicestershire, predominantly, within an hour's drive of where I live. Because I don't like spending time in the car, in all honesty. Because I see that at dead time. There's 35,000 small businesses, including the self-employed and work from home, according to the Chamber of Commerce, in Leicestershire. So if I can't make a reasonable living out of that, I've got a problem. It's nothing to do with the market, it's me. Yeah? So I'm not going to waste my time trying to sell to people in Nottinghamshire, or Coventry, or Peterborough, or Northampton. Why? Because it's not where I want to market. So it's all about targeting your marketing. Now, once you've targeted your marketing, as we just briefly discussed with Belinda, you can then work out messages that go into that marketing. What is your target market going to respond to? What's their pain? Where are their problems? You'll get wealthy if you solve enough problems for enough people. End of story. Pick on their problems. What can you solve? Accountants. Fixed fee, monthly payment accounting. It's quite unique. Right? Targeted at small firms who can't afford to run the risk of having a £1,000 accountancy bill at the end of the year. Why not pay for it monthly? Eases out cash flow, makes it such an easy sell. Which is why we sell websites on a monthly payment plan. Because our target market, well, it's sustain a great big bill for a website. Okay, does that make sense? So the message is appropriate to our market. You know, we pride ourselves on being affordable in what we do. Again, speaking into the target market. We give a money-back guarantee. It's going to make some money for you. Okay? Again, that message that the market needs to hear. So you're saying, we know we're good. Well, in fact, we know it so well, we're more than happy to give you money back if we fail. Does that make sense? So it's a market it's a message that's appropriate to our market. Now then, media. Business cards, websites, brochures, networking, post, email marketing, social media. They are all methods of communication. They are media. But it's pointless trying to get heavy into a website, into networking, into social media, until you've identified who you're selling to and what message they're going to respond to. So, the media. going to throw some ideas at you here that I know work in successful marketing campaigns. How many people here have a video on their website? Okay, not many. Right, the nerds in the room. What's the world's second largest search engine? YouTube. I can promise you, fewer than 1 in 100 small businesses will even contemplate it as a marketing channel. YouTube is the world's third largest, or third most widely used website in the world, second to Google and Facebook. Third to Google and Facebook. And Facebook's market share is dwindling anyway. Not dwindling, but it's starting to head off. Okay? If you haven't got a YouTube presence, you're missing out on a massive, massive marketing trick. Now, I'm not saying you have to be like me and talking to the camera. You can use Joanne's services. Get yourself a time-lapse video and talk over it, or get somebody who had a particularly nice voice to do a voiceover for you. Get it to YouTube, embed it into your website. The best thing about YouTube is it's really, really expensive. It doesn't cost you anything at all, apart from the time and effort to put into effect the campaign that you're going to use. What am I going to make? How am I going to use it? Okay. YouTube, grossly underused by almost all small businesses in their marketing, but it can be absolutely massive. Works wonders. Okay. LinkedIn, who sells business to business? Keep your hand up if you're spending time on LinkedIn every single day. Okay, going down, okay. LinkedIn, if you're selling business to business, you need to be on it like a rash. LinkedIn itself is a massive search engine. I get found nearly 2,000 times a month on LinkedIn. More so than my bloody website. I'm not complaining, because I win work through LinkedIn. Because I spend time there, get involved in groups, I get involved in discussions, ask questions of people, put things on the timeline, connect with people constantly. Okay? So get into LinkedIn. Business to business, LinkedIn is it. If you're spending 30 minutes a day on Facebook and no minutes on LinkedIn, you need to ask someone who works with you to give you a bloody good kicking if you sell business to business, because you're wasting your time. Social media is a social time dump if you're not where your target market is. You know, Stella, you'll know from your own research, I'm sure, people don't go on Facebook to buy legal services. They don't. People search for legal services on LinkedIn. I promise you they do. By the thousands. Okay? I know that people don't search for websites on Facebook. So why would I want to spend time and money there? I'm not saying there isn't a place for my marketing on Facebook, but selling websites is a very, very hard uphill struggle. So why waste time and effort there on a badly targeted media? Okay, make sense? Okay. Now, I want to talk to you something about something that's been reminded of this morning. I like coffee. Who likes coffee? Who likes receiving junk mail? Oh, only me then. Okay, fair enough. If you received something that looked like junk mail but got something lumpy in it, would you open it? Yeah, darn right you would. What's interesting is, has anybody else noticed that the amount of junk mail you get in the post has gone down considerably? It hasn't it? People have gone like that. Why do you think that is? The biggest irony is, if you use the right tools, the postal costs have actually gone down. If you use stamps, postal costs have gone up. If you use postal fulfillment services, prices have gone down. Postal mail is cheaper than it's been in a long time. But because the perception among marketeers, and especially those in small businesses, that the price has gone up, people have stopped doing it, which means the likelihood of your letter getting read has gone like that. If the message is good. We talked about a message appropriate to your market. Identify market, get a message that works, and use a media. Now, if I sent you an envelope that said private and confidential on it, with a handwritten name and address on the front, and something lumpy like this in it, you'd open it, wouldn't you? Darn right you would. Now, can you attach a message which gets a response to something like this? Because I'd also like to point out, these are a quid each, with no minimum order. Spend £10 on these on a very targeted marketing campaign to 10 potential clients with a view to sending these out. It costs you 10 quid plus postage, and the post, because they're only 60 odd grams each, postage won't be a lot, so you're looking at maybe 25, possibly £30 for a targeted marketing campaign to 10 potential clients that's guaranteed to get opened. So that's half the battle right there. It ain't going straight in the bin. Okay, for £1 each. Right? With your message on here, because they print the logos for you as well, within that £1. I think this is absolutely brilliant. I'm going to be ordering a load of these because I've got a targeted marketing campaign at small law firms in Leicestershire. So.
Just give us the copy.
But I tell you what, how about sending something along the lines of, I know we're not actually there, but please let me buy you a coffee. Instantly gets a response. Lindsay over there nodding here. The reason is because so few people do it. But it doesn't have to cost the earth. As long as your market is well defined. Now I'm going to do this targeted marketing campaign for law firms in chunks of 10. Why? Because I can't send out a load of these and legitimately try and following them all up a few days later. So I'm doing them in chunks of 10. And there aren't that many small law firms in my target market anyway. But the point is, the market's been identified. I've got a message which is going to get noticed at the very, very least. And then the media I'm going to use is post. Can you do something similar to this in your target market? Think about the price of a client. Is it worth spending £2.50 on a bit of coffee, an envelope, and a letter, and a bit of postage? Is it? Okay. Is getting your foot in the door of a potential client worth £2.50? Of course it is. Yeah. Is getting your foot in the door of a potential client worth spending maybe 15 minutes a day on social media, specifically LinkedIn? And I would say if you're spending more than 30 minutes a day on social media, unless you live in social media and that's your chosen channel and you're doing it on behalf of clients, you're wasting time. Use tools like Hootsuite or Buffer, right? Be smart with social media. I see so many people prattling about on Twitter, telling me what they had for lunch. My friend Phil Campbell in Nottinghamshire told me he went for a nice satisfying dunk the other day on Twitter. Thanks, Phil. You've obviously more time on your hands, you're making too much money. Okay? So be sensible. Now I'm just throwing some things out there. What I really want you to think about your marketing is we small business people are going to be the drivers of the economic recovery. I'm not convinced there's a recession. I think the recession is in the head of George Osborne and every reporter at the BBC. Because if you take government spending out of the equation, the UK economy is growing. Quite tidily, thank you. Those businesses that rely on house building and government spending are struggling. Why? Because it's all being squeezed. In fact, even the housing market is starting to rise a little bit. The point is, the UK economy, the small business economy, is doing well. But the marketing that we all did pre-2008 isn't going to work anymore. You've got to be smart. You've got to be focused. You've got to be targeted. Broadcast medium isn't going to work. Business to business. So you need to work out your market. Spend time and money where your market is only. Don't waste time trying to sell to people who are never going to buy from you. Okay, which is why I will never put an ad in the newspaper. Why I'll probably never buy advertising on the radio. Okay, because my target market don't hang out there. But it's definitely why I hang out on LinkedIn. Make sense? Definitely why I spend time doing Twitter every day. Okay. Make sure your message is something that your target market is going to respond to. Or at least get noticed. You know, have your message on here and be clever with it. Be funny. Have a sense of humour. People respond to sense of humour. Okay? Use something like this. Get into YouTube, please. I implore you to get into video marketing. It's free. I've got a little camera here. It cost me 65 quid from eBay. The video editing software cost me £100. This is not an expensive medium, but it means massive things. I've got video on my homepage. Yes, if you find me annoying, that's great because I'm getting a response. But it works because people do respond. Because it's out of the ordinary. Okay, you don't have to reinvent any wheels. You don't have to spend a fortune. You've got to be smarter than your competition. You've got to get noticed. Right. Thanks very much for listening. I would like your business cards, every single one of you, because I want to share this video with you. If you think you've learned something from that, I definitely want Stella's card. You're on my target list. Go out there, be different, be unique. Look at your competition. Most of their marketing was bland, unoriginal, and pretty much what worked 10 years ago. Things have moved on. Move on with this. Thanks very much.